Hotty toddy, Ole Miss fans, and welcome to the Brad and Chad Show. Brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans, made in the USA. This is the show by and for Ole Miss fans, where you'll get expert insight and analysis on Ole Miss athletics. And now, here are your hosts, former Rebels Chad Flowers and retired NFL star Bradley Sowell.
Podcast time.
Welcome. We are back midweek episode, Brad and Chad Show. Bradley Sowell wearing some type of garment with Chicago Bears on them. So apparently he is trying to, bring some negativity onto the show, considering you can't beat, hardly anybody in the NFL. Bradley, how are you today, bud?
Hey, I love it. Listen, man, you texted me and said, hey, we got Swag Kelly on today. Went in the closet, said, hey, I need some swag. You got to look good when Swag Kelly comes on. So excited to have him on today. And you're right. The Bears can't win, but you know what? True fan will stick it out. And maybe at some point in the next 30 years, we'll be getting back to the Super Bowl. Who knows?
That's right. You're really setting a pretty high bar attire-wise. But I must let you know, I actually called some tuxedo shops here in town. If I could have pulled it off, I would have had a full tux on in preparation, but I was not prepared to spend $150 for just a one-day rental. So,
whenever you are the company's, attire dress code police, I figure, hey, every week now, you've inspired me to put something good on.
That's a fair point. When I make the rules, I guess I can wear whatever the hell I want to. So I do. I kind of appreciate the lenience you're giving me here. As Brad mentioned, pretty exciting show. We're going to have Chad Kelly on here in just a few minutes. We're just going to kind of talk to him, see what he's up to. He's up in Canada now, playing in the CFL. Chat with him about Ole Miss, just what's going on in his life. But just a few things to talk about. Coming off the Kentucky win this past Saturday. Rebels are now a top 10 team. You beat a top 10 team, you get some recognition. Rebels are now number 9 in both the AP and the coaches poll, especially with the game coming up this week with Vanderbilt. You gotta, I think you mentioned it last week, the Kool-Aid is hard not to drink at the moment, man. Yeah,
I know, man. I tell you what, it's, considering what we lost last year,
right.
To be where we are now is pretty. It's pretty good accomplishment so far.
Oh, Bradley, hold on just a second. I need to interrupt you. I'm just getting word that we need to interrupt for Aaron Judge. Apparently, he's about to try to hit number 6. No, okay, wait a minute. No, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. You're good.
Yeah, I feel like every show we watch. You're right, dude. Every show we watch, we have to watch Aaron Judge freaking bat.
And can I go on a quick 2-minute rant before we get to Chad Kelly? He's not going for the record. This is an American League record and a New York Yankee record. I'm sorry, but Barry Bonds is the home run champ at 73 home runs. He never got busted. He never failed a drug test in the major leagues. He is the home run champion in baseball. Nobody cares except for people in New York and Roger Maris's son, which I don't care what he says either.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm with you. I'm watching the Ole Miss game and I'm having to watch Aaron Judge bat. I can give 2 craps about what's going on in New York with Aaron Judge. And
I love baseball. But Aaron Judge is not the home run champ. I don't care about New York Yankees season records. I don't.
I mean, I thought I could escape it. I think I was watching like a documentary, and it even came in on Netflix. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. No. It interrupted Coco Melon when my son was watching a little earlier, and I'm like, I can't escape this. It's embarrassing. So.
I love it, dude.
So before we get to Chad, we do have some exciting news. We do have a new sponsor for the show. Our friend Jeff Griffin with the Stevenson Griffin Group at Baird Private Wealth Management. You can go to his website. We're also going to put information about Jeff in our show description, as well as wherever you get your podcast, the show notes. Their website is stevenson-griffin-group.bairdwealth.com. You can also give them a call at 662-841-1900. So we're really excited to have them part of the show, and we really want to thank Jeff and his team for helping us out. So really what everybody's waiting for, right? Pretty exciting. We've got a guest on the show this week. One of the most famous, if you ask me, Rebels in in recent history. Beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa for only the second time in program history.
Yep.
Took us to a Sugar Bowl. Beat Oklahoma State. My man, Chad Kelly. How are you today, sir?
How are you guys?
Yeah, Kelly, what's up, man?
I appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, do you approve of the jacket or no? This is for this is Swag Kelly, man. I was playing your song in my ears, like I was ready to go. I was ready to go.
I'm not gonna lie, it definitely is fine.
It barely even fits though, man. This must have been when I was like a little bit thinner or something. I don't know. I need to quit eating.
All right, well, so that's the question I have. How many pounds have you shredded since your playing days?
Man, well, I had a weird deal. My last year I played tight end, so I got down to like 269, 270, and then when I got done, I was like, man, I look a little too skinny walking around. So I'm probably at 295 now, somewhere in there.
Ooh, okay. All right, so too.
I ain't getting back up into those 300s. I don't think so. We should be good.
That's good.
So Chad, you're in Toronto now, playing in the CFL. Let me go ahead and ask you differences between Canada and the States. I know you're from Buffalo, which is right on the Canadian border, but what's the differences? What are your impressions on Canada compared to the States?
Yeah, not including how wide, the football field is, but, the different type of cultures that are up here, the different type of people, you can definitely see a different attitude between people, I would say. People are a little bit more receiving up here. Obviously, they give a little bit more. They're actually willing to speak to you. Everything just seems a little bit nicer up here, to be honest with you. But I'm blessed to be in this position to see these different cultures, to try different foods, and obviously to meet new people, and then hopefully have relationship last, a lifetime.
Awesome. Have you had a chance to try poutine yet?
I will not try it. Not gonna. It doesn't turn me on the way it turns some of these Canadians on. It's just it's like something that I just don't want to be feeling after, All
right. And if you're not familiar, if our audience is familiar, poutine is just fries with brown gravy and cheese curds. You can put some smoked meat on there too if you're feeling a little special. But okay, all right, no worries there. I know you still have a connection to the program, right? Your brother Casey playing for the Rebels. Are you able to watch? You've been following the season up to this point. I know you play on some Saturdays and stuff like that. So how are you able to follow the Rebels still?
Yeah. So, shout out to Boris Beatty. He got me a Fire Stick. So I'm able to watch every game in the whole world, which is amazing. So I have only seen 2 games. The first game the Rebs played, and then this past week, I didn't get to watch the whole game, but I got to watch most of it because we had meetings as well. But I'll tell you what, obviously I've paid attention. I've seen highlights. My brother tells me things, and I'm going back and watching some things as well. I can obviously record the game and watch it, later. I'm very intrigued by obviously, Coach Kiffin and all these new guys on the offensive side of the ball. Defense, they just seem like they're playing lights out. They're just, playing fast, physical. And, it truly seems like those guys are gelling together really, really quickly, which is very surprising, with all those transfers and everything. So I'm anxious to see how the season ends up. Obviously, SEC play just started, and I think it's going to be a fun year for the Rebels. I really do.
Chad, dig into the quarterback a little bit more. I know you being a quarterback yourself, it's probably better coming from you than me and Chad always trying to break it down. But what are you seeing so far in Jackson Dart and his growth? And, what do you see upside-wise for him? I mean, is he as good as we all think he is, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think he has a lot of potential. I think he's obviously young. You can see that. I think the biggest thing right now is that as long as he just takes what the defense gives him, right? We always say it's not sexy taking the fat chick in the flats, but, sometimes you just have to do it, right? And, you can never go broke taking a profit. And so what we mean by that is just staying ahead in the sticks, right? If it's 1st and 10, hey, who cares if you take the 4-yard hitch route? Just take it. And let those guys play with the ball and get the ball in their hands and make them make plays, right? That's their job. Instead, if the linebackers are bailing because, they know that you can throw the ball, they know that you can throw the ball down the field and throw it accurately, well, guess what they're going to do? They're going to start bailing. They're bailing quick, and they're not respecting the run when they know it's a passing formation or, it's a passing personnel out there, right? So, just get used to taking what the defense gives you. And I think, good things are going to happen to him. But obviously, his arm, he's not scared to throw it downfield. He threads the ball in between tight windows. Obviously, he's got great receivers. He has a great running game. I think that the ceiling is definitely very high for him. Obviously, the coaches that he has are obviously very, very well thought of. And, if we keep on getting recruits like this and, it's going to look like an NFL team.
Yeah, no kidding. How does he get there, Chad? I mean, his progressions and all that. I mean, does it come with confidence? Does it come with experience? Or how does he get to that point to where he's confident to say, hey, I can take what I get or I know when to take the shot? Because I'll tell you one thing that's different, looking now, it's like when he throws it deep, it's not like kind of like when you guys were there. Like when Chad Kelly threw the ball deep, there was usually a guy, it was usually the right read. Whereas now it almost feels like he's guessing a little bit at times. How does he get there progression wise to that point where he can make the right decisions?
Yeah, obviously, it's predicated on what the defense plays, right? Of course,
yep.
But, I think there's a time and place for when you want to do it, right? Obviously, early in the game, you watch Aaron Rodgers, right? Everybody wants to be Aaron Rodgers right now, right? Obviously, Tom Brady is the king of just taking what the defense gives you and being, precise all the way down the field. But, way Aaron does it, he takes what defense gives him, the first part of the game, and then second part of the game, he starts taking a little bit fewer shots down the field. And I think that's where you have to know where and when, there's a time to go for the deep ball, right? But like I said, I think that the coaches obviously know what they're doing. They know what type of person and player he is. Obviously, he can run too. I think those guys underestimated how well and how athletic he is to be able to get jiggy, we call it. I mean, he's very slippery and it seems like he moves around well. And like I said, man, when you got players outside that can catch the ball over the field, you got Mingo, you got the kid from USF, you got the kid from Mississippi State, you got my brother, you got USC. Tight end. I mean, you got all these different guys, and who you want to get the ball to. Who? I mean, they all can catch the ball. Right. They all can run. So then you got the running back who he's going to run a 4.3 40, and next he's gone like the wind. So I think he just has to learn to keep on taking what the defense gives him. Next thing everybody starts sucking up, comes up for the run. Next play action pass, and it's right over their head. So you just got to keep harping on it. Take what the defense gives you.
Looking at this offense with Kiffin compared to your offense with Coach Freeze, do you kind of wish you could have played in a offense that's so run focused, which now just kind of opens it up for a quarterback to be able to throw when it's available? Or how would you compare, the offense you played in compared to what the Rebels are running now?
I can't speculate exactly like the intricacies of what that offense is, right? Obviously I know what type of offense I was in.
Sure.
I love Coach Freeze to death. I love Dan Werner to death. But I truly didn't understand football until I got to the NFL, right? And what I mean by that is there 6 guys in the box, right? Is there 7 guys in the box, right? Because you're in base personnel, or hey, we got an extra tight end in the game, right? In college, you're really not playing base personnel because your base personnel is 11, right? Which is 1 tight end, 1 running back. And so, until you find out who the Mike is, right, and you understand, hey, the Sam is predominantly a DB, right, or he's a run stopper, you got to figure that out, right? And do teams match personnel? Okay, well, what formations can you get defenses to show their hand, right? When I got to the NFL, I was able to learn in 2 tight end sets, hey, if we're going 2 by 2, right? And you got 2 tight ends on one side and you got 2 wide receivers on the other. Well, how can we high-load those defenders to either the tight end side or to the 2 receiver side? And, defenses only have a certain plethora of coverages, right? Against certain personnel and certain formations. So when you figure out what formation gives them trouble, then that's when you attack it even more down the field. And it's all about high-low and defenders, man. If you have a very good offensive coordinator that understands high-lowing somebody when everybody's deep and you just find that one person, that one fish out of water.
Yep.
It makes it easier for everybody on the field.
Dude, that exact thing you just said is what I harp on here all the time about how this is my main reason. Hey, I think we should always pressure the quarterback in college because what you just said, they're not coached like you would think. I mean, there's nothing against college coaches, but they have 100 guys they have to teach stuff to, right? Like in the NFL, you got 40-something guys, 50 guys are actually going to play you. You can get a lot more granular, a lot more into detail. Whereas like in college, man, like it ain't as complicated as it is on the next level. So that's why I'm glad you said that because I'm always harping, hey, let's pressure these quarterbacks. They don't have hots and sights, you know what I mean? Like, they don't have some of these crazy reads. Let's get after these quarterbacks, and I'm glad you said that on there, man.
That's exactly right. I just obviously I was watching the Bama versus Arkansas game, and the first touchdown that Alabama threw, it was a slant by number 2. I think they went 2-by-2 again, like 2 tight ends, whatever. Well, Arkansas went cover 0, right? And so he threw the slant. And I was thinking, I'm like, I don't know if I'd pressure that guy. I would probably only drop, I would drop, 8, 9 guys and make him find a window to throw in. I mean, that's the only way to take away an athletic quarterback that really is a thrower, right? I mean, how do you win? A guy that throws the ball, right? A guy that rushes the ball, you guys know what happens. You stack the box, one on one outside. He can't get a ball to one-on-one receiver, right? So when you go cover 0 to a guy who understands football, has been around football, has a coach like Nick Saban and Bill O'Brien, that's probably not a smart idea. And obviously you saw what happened with Arkansas and them guys, but obviously, quarterback has to understand where I need to get rid of the ball with. But I think exactly to your point, if a guy who hasn't played a lot of ball, man, you blitz the hell out of him. You blitz the hell out of him.
No question.
You mentioned talking to your brother a little bit about things that are going on right now. Do you feel like just in talking with him that the current staff is I'm not going to compare this staff to the staff that you played with, but do you feel like they are preparing, Casey, if he were to play at the next level? Do you think he is going to be prepared, or how the staff doing, getting players ready for whatever next step they're going to take?
Yeah, I would assume so. Obviously, Lane has been in the NFL before. Casey has had 3 different coaches, right?
Right.
He had Coach McGee first, and then he had the guy that went to Oklahoma, and now this guy, right? So, it's kind of hard for Casey to be in his 4th year here and have 3 different coaches, right? So,
Sure.
He's trying to learn everything from all these different guys. Yes, he's playing a new position that he's never played for, but he's also learning how these guys coach as well. Everybody has a different style of coaching and different philosophies and what they believe in, right? So, if my brother can take the next step in getting to the next level, it's really, as a tight end, you got to just be athletic enough to make plays whenever it's called, right? It's one-on-one. You're on a Mike linebacker. You have to figure it out and beat him, and that's really what it comes down to as a tight end. There's so many tight ends out there, and everybody, is always looking for that next guy that can block, that can, catch. I look at my brother as like a Kyle Juszczyk or, someone like that, he's not scared to, put his foot in the ground and go one-on-one with a will linebacker, right? And onion on onion is what, the Steelers always preach. So sometimes you got to have those type of guys, right? And a guy that can, make plays in the passing game as well. You send him out in the flat, make him miss against the flat defender, and next thing you know, he's rolling for 40, 50 yards.
How, quick transition over to the CFL. Obviously, you want to be in the National Football League. That's the best league in the world. How are you approaching your day-to-day up in Toronto as, without looking ahead to the NFL, if that opportunity presents itself again? What's your mindset in Toronto right now?
Yeah, my mindset is to get better, whether it's mentally, whether it's physically. Every day I have to, work on my craft. And the day that I take a day off is the day that someone else is getting better, right? So, even though I'm up here, in the CFL, I'm still watching NFL film. I'm still watching college football. I'm still, watching these type of games, see what type of plays. Every year it's always fun to watch, NFL football and college football, because every year there's a niche that year. There's something that a guy found, he was like, yo, this is going to work. And it ends up working. Now everybody's doing it across the league, but it was never seen till this year. So that's always fun to watch. I picked something up where, they're starting to stack some guys and running both guys out and then coming back under and just trying to create in and out coverage and leverage and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun to watch and, just staying prepared, man, because you just never know when that call is going to come and hopefully it comes a lot sooner than you think.
Sweet. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Buffalo wings or Southern barbecue? What's your preference? Throwing you a curveball, man.
Honey, Cajun, butter, barbecue wings.
Oh. Okay, man. Just put me in my place there.
That's something. Buffalo, New York.
All right. I know you are a fan of hip hop. Who you listen to get psyched up before a game?
Hot Boy.
Hot Boy, okay. I know that's Bradley's guy. Bradley's a big Hot Boy guy.
Or Hot Boy.
I don't know. I'm just assuming it.
Good. Listen, you should definitely listen.
Oh, man, that's great.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, when you were in Indy, obviously I was there as well. Did they have the golf course in front of the facility still?
Sure did. Yep, sure did.
Oh man, dude, there's some funny stories up there on that one.
Little par 3 out there, baby. They take care. It's like it's a football field. I
know, it's crazy. I mean, they said whenever Peyton was there, if you got caught out there, in any of the like meeting times, if you got caught out there, hitting some balls and you messed up in practice, he was like all over you. So like nobody, the whole time Peyton was there, like I got there the year after he left, the whole time he was there, like nobody ever went out there and they said the greens were just perfect. Like nobody ever went out there. And then as soon as Peyton left, everybody was out there hitting balls and having a good time. So that's good stuff.
I don't think I ever, maybe once, I probably rarely saw any players out there.
Yeah, no, it was like like an old myth or something. Like, hey, nobody goes out there, man, or Peyton Manning will drive by and see you out there. So,
and it was so perfect, it almost looked like you didn't want to go.
I know, man, good stuff there. Especially Jim Irsay, man, what a guy, huh? I mean, what a great guy. So, that was a fun organization to play for.
Last thing before we let you go, Chad, what's your favorite NFL city that you've had the chance to kind of travel to, especially in the preseason? Where did you like to play when you were spending some time bouncing around from team to team in the NFL?
Yeah, it's hard to not say Buffalo just because the home fan base, and you always had a lot of people come. Denver, was just a special place in being a higher altitude. Playing in San Diego when they were in the little dome or soccer field. That was pretty unique in its own ways. Miami, obviously, Hard Rock Stadium was super sweet.
Yeah.
Probably the best, maybe the Giants, just because it was, New York City. I think we played the Giants. Yeah. I don't know what one we played. I think the Jets. And, I have family in New York City and New Jersey, and every time I came, they always made sure the boys had subs I could give to the offensive linemen and stuff. So that was nice. Yeah. And they obviously took care of us after the game. So
that's good stuff.
That was always fun. Anytime you get to go to a place where you have family and friends, I think that makes it special.
Yeah. For sure. Chad, give us a good, before we let you go, give us a good Ole Miss story or a good Ole Miss memory for the fans. Maybe something nobody's ever heard or something. Give us something good, man. Give us a good Chad Kelly story.
The best story, I think that I'll always remember, obviously, for the rest of my life, because obviously when we beat Alabama was obviously amazing. But when we got home, I probably had 25 guys at my house, and it was from about 3 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Nobody slept. Everybody's still over there, and we were just sitting around, just talking shit, bullshitting, and I was just like, man. You see what we just did, fellas? And, we're watching SportsCenter. They're talking about, a number one story, obviously. And we're all just looking at each other like, yo, we really did this. And I think, like, to have there was no women around. It was just dudes. And you were like, yo, this is sweet. Like, this is a brotherhood. And I really, at that moment, I was like, this is going to be special, super special. So that was sweet.
those memories, man, that just make the college experience just what it is, right?
I mean, look, we obviously thought we would win, of course, but
Sure.
until you actually do it, that was definitely probably one of my favorites, or even just walking off the field and getting a handshake from someone. So that was very.
Hey, what is Chad Kelly's NIL value right now? if he was still in college, oh man, I think about that all the time. Like, man, some of these guys got cheated.
We all got cheated, but we made sure that if there wasn't an NIL deal, we still had a deal. I'm not going to say who, what, where, when, and how, but just know it got done.
I love it.
Perfect.
Man.
Well, hopefully the Rebels this year are going to have some of those same memories that Chad had after the Alabama game. And Chad, we can't thank you enough calling in. Great hanging out with you. Best of luck up in Toronto. Man, we're rooting for you, dude.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me. Obviously, go Rebels. And, man, I hope we do it this year. You just never know.
No doubt, man. Appreciate it, Chad. Good luck, brother. Holler at me if you ever need anything.
Guys, appreciate it. Go Rebels.
See you, Chad.
See you. That's Chad Kelly on the Neston Wild hotline. We thank him so much for calling. Man, that was a fun interview, man.
Man, Chad is always a trip to talk to. He's just, man, he is what he is. He's going to tell you the way he feels. Yep. And what's amazing is how smart he is at football, man. Like if you actually sit there and talk football with Chad Kelly, like he's smart. Now he knows ball very, very well. So hopefully one day, man, after his football days, he'll consider coaching. I think he'd be a great motivator, recruiter, a really good coach.
Yeah, he really went into the X's and O's really quick. And it's always, I mean, I know quarterbacks have to be so, they have to know what everybody's responsible for, but just listening to him, I could listen to him, you and him talk ball like that for another hour or so.
Yeah, he's a smart dude, man. So every time I've ever had encounters with him, it's been either me and him at the game talking some mess to another team or talking some football, man. He's a smart dude. Smart. I really enjoy some Chad Kelly, man.
Yeah. So let's talk quickly about Blue Delta Jeans, right? They've got a big event coming up in I think not this coming weekend, but the following weekend.
Auburn weekend.
Yeah, Auburn weekend. They're going to host an event at the Lyric. Mustache the Band is going to be one of the top party country bands, is what I'm hearing. They're going to be performing after the basketball event on the Square Jam, where the basketball team, you'll be able to meet them. And then, like Bradley mentioned, we're playing Auburn the following Saturday, so you'll be nice and hungover for that early game after the event at the Lyric, right?
Well, I think it's funny when Nick, so we have a group text with Todd Wade, a bunch of former players, based our tailgating group. And as soon as somebody sent Auburn 11 a.m. kickoff, Nick was the first response. He was like, oh no, because he has this big party at the Lyric. So I was like, Nick, we might as well just stay at the party and then just go straight to the Grove, 8 a.m. and just pull an all-nighter there because I mean, I don't know how he's going to do it, but this will be fun.
Yeah, for sure. So you can go to Blue Delta's website and check out and get some tickets for that. It'll be an open bar. It'll be a fun time, like we mentioned. Mustache the Band is going to be there, so it should be a really, really good time. And that is the Friday night before the Auburn game, which is next Saturday. Now, we just talked about a little bit about the Auburn game. Game time set for 11 o'clock, and I saw a lot of Rebel fans upset they were adding Keith Carter, his athletic director, complaining to him. I'm actually okay.
Embrace it. It was a beautiful environment. It was a beautiful day in Oxford this past weekend. Get your butt up. It's 11:30. It's not like it's a 7 a.m. game. Like, dude, embrace it. It's awesome for us. We get the advantage. Like, I text Todd Wade and said, hey, dude, this is good for us. Like, you're the home team. 11 a.m. kickoff. The environment's great, and then you get to party afterwards in the Grove until whatever time it closes. I mean, dude, bring it on, baby. But bring it on. I know everybody wants that 6 o'clock game, but bring it on. We'll take it.
Yeah, and one thing that we have to realize is ESPN is in competition with Fox. Fox has Big Noon Saturday, where they put their biggest game at 11 o'clock. ESPN wants to compete with that. So look at it as a compliment. They want to put a team that people are going to watch at 11 o'clock. Unlike in the past where it was like, hey, here's the other game. They have the ABC game. So the 6 o'clock ESPN or the 8 o'clock ESPN, you're competing with ABC. They want all the eyes coming off of game day and watching a team that is good, which is the Rebels. So like it or not, you can expect more 11 a.m. starts, but that's because of the respect I think the program is getting because people want to watch this team play.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. The better, the more we keep winning, the more eyes will be on us. So I'm with you. I don't care. Hey, we're going to be fighting for at that point, hopefully 7-0, and the environment's gonna be beautiful with that blue sky over the vault. It's not obviously ideal for everybody, but man, get there, make it a rocket environment again, and let's do something we haven't done. I think I was looking at stats. I mean, shoot, it'll be since 1960 something since last time we started 6-0, which will be hopefully this week, and then after that, I mean, there's no telling the last time we were 7-0. So, I'm for it. Let's bring it on. Early game, bring it on. Let's do it.
And the Rebels also, coming off the Kentucky game, more accolades for the freshmen on this team. Quinshon Judkins, co-freshman of the week. Micah Pettis, offensive lineman of the week, both freshmen. Judkins is second in the SEC. You can see him running here. Pettis opening up the hole for him. Judkins second in the SEC in rushing yards. He had 106 against Kentucky. Pettis played right tackle in his first start, didn't allow a sack. Graded out to 94%. We've got Lane actually talking about both of these freshmen and how much they've meant to the team thus far.
It's just unique. And you would not guess that being around him. His personality is very calm, very quiet. So you wouldn't, personality-wise, you wouldn't guess that. He's one of those, the most unique we had was Troy Polamalu was like unbelievable, like off the field, and then like the switch would go and he'd just want to knock everybody out on the field. And Q kind of reminds me of that, off the field. So it's really neat. He was raised really well. Yeah, probably as big a development as we've been around over a year. From a guy that came here redshirted, looked a long ways away from playing a year ago, and I asked him this summer when he was doing so much better, early in camp, he looked so much better. He just said like a lot of these kids, it was his first time in his life not playing and not traveling, and just reflected on all of his habits and work ethic, and just completely changed himself mentally and physically. And it's awesome to see. I mean, not too many times, you got two freshman tackles, and the guy has to make his first start in a big SEC game and play that well.
Bradley, watching that game against Kentucky, how impressed were you with what Micah Pettis was able to do?
Man, it's awesome. I mean, he's one of those guys, a big old guy. I mean, just humongous guy. To see him go out there, he had multiple blocks on that film where he was, just opening up the hole. But, his body type is set up for it, and he's a good example. I've been through this before. You're a raw talent, big body in there, and, you got one or two guys, one or two type of guys. You either get in there and, like Coach said, you're either sick of not playing and you're actually there to play and want to play ball, and you do something about it to fix it because he's already got the God-given ability and size, right? Okay, now what's it take next? I got to do what I need to figure out what I need to do mentally and physically to get on the field. And when a guy that size does that, that's the result you get. You get somebody that's developed, and he's only a freshman, and he looked good. I mean, he really did. I've kind of watched his progress because I'm just intrigued by the body size, and he looks like a little Orlando Brown almost. He's a big old dude. Just kind of watched him, and Kiffin was right. I mean, he was a long ways away from playing. Then you watch the film this week, and I mean, he was taking sets calm, pass blocking well, run blocking well, and he keeps doing that, man. He's gonna make himself a lot of money. He's still a young kid, so big game for him. I mean, and how cool is that? You got two freshman tackles in there. It may get to the point where Kiffin says, "Hey, let's roll with that. Let's roll with that." That's good for the years coming.
Anytime you can get freshman contributions, period, let alone these types of accolades, it only speaks to not only the way the program is going in terms of performance this year, but the development that the coaching staff has been able to do in a relative short period of time is really, really impressive. Right.
Yep.
So that's really encouraging to see that, not only do we have good recruiting classes, but they're actually contributing on the field, because that's not always the case.
Yeah, right? No, I'm with you. And that's why we have such a, pay Lane all the big bucks, bring the talent in. If they're not top tier talent, let's develop them. And that's what he's doing so far, man. He's delivering.
Some also pretty big news. If you didn't get a chance to watch the Rebels baseball team in Omaha, Bradley and I were there, actually hung out a little bit. Well, you're actually going to get a chance to see the baseball team at the Alabama game on November 12th. So the school actually announced that, and you can see right here on your screen if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. This is the ring design that has been made. One of my favorite parts is they let the Rebels the Rebs get hot, which I think was cool because that was the mantra that the team had. But yeah, they're going to have a kind of a week-long ceremony the 9th through the 12th of November. They're going to hand out their rings. They're also going to do Walk of Champions on the 12th as well. So that'd be really cool. So if you're going to be in
Alabama game, right?
Say that again?
It should be Alabama game, right?
Yeah, the Alabama game, right? So it should be a rocking time period because the Rebels are going to be 9-0. Trying to stay undefeated, going against Alabama. You're going to also be commemorating, the national champion baseball team with the Walk of Champions, which would be cool. Even if you can't go to the game, be in the Grove, cheering them on walking through the Walk of Champions, which should be really, really fun to see.
Yep, agree, man. That's gonna be a fun one. I can't wait for that game. Got that one circled for sure. So I'm sure everybody does. That's gonna be quite a game, quite a time to see that ring too.
Absolutely. Now we got a little bit of time left. We'll talk about Vanderbilt here in just a second. Want to talk real quick about Nested Wild Mattresses, headquartered right here in the state of Mississippi. This is a mattress company that's near and dear to Bradley's heart. He's a client. He's also, one of the, not a founder, but he's one of the members of the Nested Wild team. They've taken a lot of experience from the comfort industry, focusing on creating a mattress that you couldn't really find on the market. They are backed by a 99-night guarantee. So if you don't like it, you can return it. It's proven to give you a good night's sleep for years to come. You can find them on Amazon or nestandwild.com. Want to make sure and thank our sponsors, Nest and Wild, for the great product that they put out, as well as sponsoring our show here. So that's pretty cool.
Use code NEST15 too.
Yeah, Nest15, 15% off. Don't want to forget about that as well. Bradley, let's talk quickly about Vanderbilt. I'll be quite honest with you. I could not find a ton on Vanderbilt in terms of, hey, these are things we need to worry about. Now, I'm not going to say that Ole Miss cannot lose this game because they absolutely can. Statistically, Ole Miss has a massive advantage. Vanderbilt is 3-2 coming into this game. Both of their losses, a drubbing to Alabama. Now, they're off a bye, so they didn't play last week. But they lost to Wake Forest as well by 20. So the two big teams that they've played, they've lost by multiple scores. Alabama did what Alabama does. And, the entire defense has really struggled. Pass defense especially. And one of those reasons why is their defensive line is not getting a lot of pressure. 7 sacks is all they have this year. Could be a good day for Jackson Dart being able to throw the ball. But once again, I think, and you would probably agree with me, that the running game is going to be the focus, right? I don't think nobody tells us what to do offensively anymore. We tell people how we're going to play.
Yep, no kidding. Vandy's giving up 33, almost 34 points a game, 450 yards. Not the greatest defense we face. So it's just a matter of going in there and, how does Kiffin want to do it? Is it going to be one of those classic, hey, let's go in there and do enough to beat them? Get up big early and then, try to run out the clock and, because what we have coming up. Or, I think you can kind of pick what he wants to do. They're definitely susceptible to the pass. Dart should have a pretty big day. On the flip side of that, on their offense side of the ball, they do have Ray Davis, who's a solid running back. I think he's 4th in rushing the SEC, and then the receiver is 3rd. But they're dead last in passing, so don't get that stat twisted. So, this is one of those games we should win and win handily. I watched in their defense, they line up very much so like Georgia Tech, like Kentucky, just real base 4 down, 6-man boxes. They'll probably bring a safety in, insert. They just try to play base football, and it's a good day to go out there and do our bread and butter and get better at it before we head to this stretch that we're about to go into. So, we go up there and law or being a law, we could get in a fight with them, but at the end of the day, man, this ain't the old Ole Miss team. The team that Vandy used to beat. We should go up there and destroy these guys.
Yeah, and listening to Lane in his press conference on Monday, that's one of the things you have to worry about with Vanderbilt. Well, let's listen to him real quick talk about not getting into that lull going into a game that you're expected to win.
Just like last week, we said you got to prepare the same regardless. Last week everybody built up the game and everything, told them, well, it's faceless opponent. It's not just when you play a team that's, not ranked and that you're heavily favored with. It's both ways, and so that way you avoid playing like this. So hopefully they listened, and it happens every week. Like I told them, look at, I don't think anybody thought Georgia was going to go in and struggle like they just did at Missouri. So it happens every week. Every game's independent of each other, and now we teach them, as you see in our games, every quarter is independent of the quarter before, let alone the games before.
Yeah, and I love the way he said that every quarter is independent, especially with the first half compared to the second half struggles. One last thing that I'll kind of tag on with this Vanderbilt game, you mentioned, the running game for Vanderbilt, that's a little misleading too, right? If you look at the numbers, almost half of their rushing yards for the season came in one game. They had over 400 yards rushing against Hawaii, who's horrible, and back in week 0.
Gotcha.
So there is an opportunity for the Rebels to play that complete game that we were talking about on Sunday. You're hoping, especially with the rigorous schedule that's coming after this game, hopefully we can see that all 4 phases, all 4 quarters, just a suffocating game against an SEC opponent.
Well, we're on a mission at this point, right? Like if you're Ole Miss, if I'm on the team, if I'm on the team right now and you're 5-0, hey, there's no messing around now. Hey, it's time to let's go there, take care of business. We see what's ahead of us. We see what's right there in our hand. We got a good win versus Kentucky. Let's go in there and let's try to do something special here. And let's not just creep into games. Make it close. Let's go out there and let's be who we think we want to be, and that's a chance to compete for the SEC West, and we're certainly going to have a chance to do that coming up. So, it's one of those games. I mean, it's not much to say about it. It's Ole Miss Vandy. Like, let's be real. Ole Miss does what they need to do. It should be a good result.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll have our recap of the Vanderbilt game on Sunday on all of our, YouTube, any places you get your podcast. So make sure you like and subscribe. Turn on notifications. That way you'll know when the new episode is out. Now, you mentioned taking care of business. I continue to take care of business with our picks. I have a 2-game advantage, 7-5 to your 5-7. Going into this week's, we got a full SEC slate. We got 7 games, all conference matchups.
Going 7-0 this week.
Let's go through them real quick. Say that again.
7-0 this week, baby. I'm excited.
I'm really excited to go 7-0, man. It should be really good. I can't wait to see how poorly you do. So Arkansas at Mississippi State in Starkville, an 8-point favorite. Who do you like between the Pigs and Dogs?
Man, I keep picking against State, and they keep doing me bad. But I'm gonna pick against them again because I'll always pick against the Dogs. Arkansas goes into Mississippi State. Their backs are against the wall. Mississippi State's on all-time high. They think they're the greatest team ever because they beat a very underperforming, bought and paid for Jimbo Fisher team. I got the Arkansas and go in there, smack them in the mouth. Give me the Hogs +8.
Okay, I like Arkansas to cover. I think State's going to win. I just think that the Arkansas secondary is too depleted, and I think the State run defense should be able to slow down what Arkansas likes to do. But I think 8 points is too many, so I think we'll both be on Arkansas this week. I just think that Arkansas will not win. All right, next game. This is a really interesting one. Death Valley, early game. Tennessee getting 3 points on the road against LSU.
No, Tennessee's favored by 3. Tennessee's favored by 3.
Tennessee is favored by 3. Against my better judgment, I'm going to take LSU, thinking Tennessee is looking ahead to Alabama next week. LSU coming off of a game they probably should have lost against Auburn. I think Brian Kelly's a good coach. May not be a great person, but he's a good coach. I do think LSU will keep it close, and they will cover the 3 in Baton Rouge.
Man, I feel the same way. 11 a.m. home team, Baton Rouge. They're 4-1. this will kind of put them on the map, so to speak. But I don't. Man, Tennessee, give me Tennessee. I think Tennessee does just enough to beat them. And I think that they, it's probably gonna be a touchdown game. But Tennessee is. I mean, they're solid, man. They're fighting for something this year finally. So I'm taking Tennessee.
Okay. All right. We've got Mizzou, fresh off of their near upset against Georgia. They are going to the Swamp. 10.5-point underdog to the Gators. Who do you like here?
Yeah, our control room hates us because we just continuously, just plaster Mizzou.
Well, they suck, so they can get over it.
Yeah, they're terrible. But you know what, Mizzou, they blew their wad. I mean, they almost pulled off the impossible, and there's no way they can get up going down to Florida again. Florida trashes them. Florida gets after them. I'm taking Florida.
I always like to bet against teams that play physical teams the week before. I think Georgia wore them down. Emotional letdown. Florida's going to get the easy cover, 2 or more scores. Okay, speaking of the Georgia Bulldogs, they get Auburn, 29.5-point favorite in Athens. Who do you like between Georgia and Auburn, the oldest rivalry in the South?
Georgia's not beating anybody by 30 points, obviously. I mean, ever since that Oregon game, they've been pretty lackluster. I'm going to assume that Auburn can stay within 30 points of them. I mean, I would hope. So I'm going to go with Auburn. I mean, I think Georgia will beat them good, but I mean, surely they can keep it. Surely, if Auburn's at a point in their program where they can't stay within 30 points of an SEC game, man, you would hope they can at least keep that to under 30.
Yeah, the question is, can Georgia score 30 points? Because I don't believe Auburn can score at all. I'm with you on this. We got too much agreeing going on, but I'm going to agree with you and take Auburn and the points. I think it'll be a blowout, but not 30-point blowout. Okay, South Carolina. They are going to Lexington to play Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky is a 10-point favorite. I like Kentucky this week. I don't think South Carolina is very good. So yeah, keep that one short and sweet. I'm going to take the Wildcats, 10-point favorite.
Wildcats for me. They kind of came off a game where they probably should have won that thing at the end. Probably should have won it at the end. They're going to be pissed. They're about to beat the crap out of South Carolina at home.
Okay. All right, more agreeing here. So let's see if we can get a little separation here. Texas A&M, the much-awaited Jimbo versus Saban battle. Alabama is getting, they're giving 24.5 points to the Aggies. 2:30 game. No, it's actually the night game on CBS. Who do you like, Tide or Aggies?
Well, if I've paid $30-something million for my roster and I'm still 24-point underdog to Alabama, man, we have got to figure out.
You know all about return on investment.
You're not getting a return on your investment there. So, I mean, A&M always plays Alabama well. So I'm going to take A&M, and I think A&M will probably lose by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I'm taking A&M.
I am too, because with Bryce Young's injury, we don't know his status. A&M's defense, even though they gave up over 40 to State, I do like, unfortunately, A&M, even though I know that one's probably going to fail. Okay, Ole Miss, 18.5 points on the road in Music City against Vanderbilt. I like the Rebels to play a complete game, get the cover, over 24 points. I'm going to say 42-14. Rebels are going to get the win over Vanderbilt.
Yep, I like that same way. 42-7 Rebs. We easily cover that up there.
Yeah, so it looks like you're going to have a pretty good week since you've mostly picked all the games that I picked the same way. So congratulations on that, buddy.
What do we have? We have the difference in Tennessee LSU, right? That's going to be the
yeah. This was a real exciting segment. I know everybody's going to be real pumped and waiting with bated breath on Sunday. But yeah, so stay tuned. We will have our Vanderbilt recap on Sunday like we normally do. We do want to thank you for all the love that we got from our Kentucky recap episode. Views were off the charts, so we want to thank you. Please like, subscribe, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you like to listen to us. Comment on it. We're going to try to start replying to your comments on these videos. Interact with us. We do see those. Add us on Twitter. We're going to start posting more TikTok videos to keep you engaged, little snippets of what we're doing. So please, wherever you like to enjoy our content, please make sure you like and subscribe because we want to know that you're out there. Bradley?
Yep, Good week. Gonna be a good fun week. Let's get to 6-0. Back in the day when I was growing up, getting to 6 wins was a big deal. Hey, the Rebs were bowl eligible. We knew we were at least going to a bowl. We're way past that point now. We're looking for bigger goals. 2022. So, yep. Let's secure our spot in the postseason, and let's do this. And thanks to Chad Kelly for joining us, man. That was an awesome interview, and we'll have him on multiple times.
Absolutely. Bradley, hotty toddy, thank you to our sponsors. Chad Kelly, thank you very much. Blue Delta, Baird Financial, Nest and Wild. We want to thank everyone for listening to us. Bradley, we'll see you on Sunday. Hotty toddy, my friend.
Yep. See you, Chad. Hotty toddy.
Thanks for listening to the Brad and Chad Show. Follow the boys on social media for more content. And don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.